Thank you everyone for joining me for my session on Exchange 2013 Modern Public Folders, Migration Cleanup and Rollback. Right. I understand there's different geographical places. People will be joining from every places. Thank you for joining. I'm really sorry for if the time is not appropriate for your location. All right, let's begin. All right, myself Prabhat Nigam. I'm a Microsoft Most Valuable Professional for Exchange Server. I write my blogs at msexchangeguru.com, which is third cool community suggested by Microsoft Exchange team. I'm a Microsoft Certified Solution Expert of Exchange 2013. I'm a MCITP of Exchange 2010 and 2007. I have worked for Microsoft PSS support for 2 years. Currently, I work on consulting in messaging migration projects or the migration pieces around. This is all about me. Let's move on to the agenda of this hour. So the agenda of this hour is modern public folder overview, public folders architecture, legacy public folders versus modern public folders in coexistence, migration requirement and assumptions, modern public folders migration steps, demo public folders migration. So we'll have a demo there for public folder migration. Then rollback to legacy exchange, legacy public folder database removal, and summary. All right, so modern public folders overview. The purpose: public folders has been used to share the emails and the files. This has been seen mostly in most of the organizations. Some organizations share their company's HR policies or IT and compliance policies. Public folders are a collection of shared information. A user's data takes many forms, calendar entries, project details, activities, contacts, task emails, and so forth can be accommodated in public folders. Some of this data can be private and relevant only to a single user or a group of users. However, some of the data can be useful for the entire organization. Usage. In most instances, public folders are used to store shared calendars, files, contacts, and global email messages. Some are open to entire organization or limited to group of individuals. The data and format of public folders offers a degree of flexibility that allows you to customize the form and the fields contained in the document. Thus, the user has the ability to define how the documents are viewed. All right. Requirements. Public folders are mostly required when you need to share some kind of data with many people. This is a great feature which allows a single file to be worked by many people. I mean, it's like time to time, like if you finished working, somebody else can add some more inputs in it in the same file and save it. And then manager can pick the file and say, okay, this file is complete, I can use it for the project and presentation. All right. So primary users. Who can be the primary user? Primary users are project teams, HR team, admins, compliance, other teams, or it can be the whole organization who will have the read-only permission to different public folders. Some might be just belonging to some project teams. Right. Other options. Now we are moving towards modern public folders, which is more convenient and reliable. Now we have option of using share mailbox for sharing. We have shared mailbox for sharing emails, shared calendars, and meetings. And we have SharePoint, which can share the calendar and the files. So we have two different locations for two different purposes. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, modern public folders architecture. So Microsoft has totally changed the modern public folders architecture from the legacy architecture of public folders, which was there since Exchange 5.5 or earlier. So now we don't have any public folder databases. Public folders are mailboxes and not databases. Right. This is a great change because you don't have to maintain, you don't have to do any maintenance tasks separately for that public folder database. Next one is all public folder mailboxes store hierarchy with only one writable, which means only one public folder mailbox will be writable, will have writable hierarchy, though all public folder mailbox will have readable copy of the hierarchy. You can share the content to multiple public folders, public folder mailboxes basically, and mailbox will be automatically picked when you will trying to open the same content of the public folder. In terms of administration, the great thing is you don't have to do separate action for public folders. It will accept same commands as mailbox, except few additional commands for public folders maintenance. RBAC based permission management is there rather than the ACLs. So permission management will be better with RBAC. All right. So let's move on to the next slide, which is legacy public folders versus modern public folders comparison. So data storage. Data storage has changed from public folder databases to mailboxes. In legacy, we could have one public folder database per server. In Exchange 2013, modern public folders, we have improved to multiple mailboxes in multiple databases, which has the normal mailboxes as well. In legacy, we had multiple public folder per database, and in modern public folder we have one to many public folder per mailbox. All right. Talking about the commandlet, in legacy Exchange we have used public folder database, and on Exchange 2013 modern public folder we have mailbox. So before Exchange 2013 we used to use get public folder database or set public folder database. Now we have get mailbox and set mailbox, which is same for normal mailboxes. All right. In terms of high availability, in legacy we had public folder replicas, and in Exchange 2013 modern public folder we have database availability group. We can create up to 16 copies of the database, which will have public folders. So to keep the high availability of the public folders, we need database availability group installation. There's no other way to keep the high availability of the public folders. So that's the high availability. Hierarchy storage. In legacy, we had one public folder hierarchy per database, and in Exchange 2013, we have only one writable copy, but all public folder mailboxes will have the readable copy, which means if your public folder mailbox, which has a readable copy, belongs to different database, it can have the hierarchy copy and doesn't need to come back to primary public folder mailbox to get the hierarchy. It will work faster if it has the public folders required in the same mailbox. All right. Hierarchy synchronization. In legacy, we had multi-master application based on email. In 2013, mailbox syncs mailbox syncs the hierarchy in one-to-many model. Content replication. In legacy, we had replica between databases, and in modern public folders, there is no public folder replica, but we have database replicas, which is the difference. Permissions are now managed by Rollback. Okay, search. The search has improved. Or in legacy we had items only, so we could have only searched the items in the public folders. Now we can also search the attachments. All right. Permissions management. In legacy we used to manage the permissions using ACLs, and now we manage the permissions using Rollback. All right. For administration, we used to use public folder management console and exchange management shell in legacy, and now in modern public folders we have exchange administration center and exchange management shell. For Outlook, Outlook client, any Outlook client version used to work with legacy public folders, and in modern public folders we have Outlook 2000 to 2013, which is compatible with mailboxes. So basically kind of the same requirement what we have for the mailbox access will be applicable for modern public folders as well. OWA 2007 and 2010 used to work with legacy public folders, but now we have OWA 2013, which is designed for modern public folders. You cannot use OWA 2010 to access modern public folders. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Public folders in coexistence. I'm sure everyone is interested in knowing this because this is most critical if you have the public folders already, and many of you will be preparing for migration or in the middle of the migration. So the first thing is complete all mailbox migration before migrating public folders to Exchange 2013. All right. Remember this: Exchange 2013 users can access Exchange 2010 or Exchange 2007 public folders. So you're not worried. Means if you migrate mailboxes from Exchange 2010 to Exchange 2007, then this user will still be able to access public folders which are in Exchange 2010 and 2007. So continue using legacy public folders until all mailboxes are migrated. If you migrate a public folder before completing the mailbox migration, then your legacy user will not be able to access it. This means Exchange 2010 and Exchange 2007 users can't access Exchange 2013 public folders because of the design change from database to mailbox. All right, so which means that there's no way to configure on Exchange 2007 and 2010 which can point them to Exchange 2013 public folder mailbox to access the public folder data. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Migration requirement and assumptions. Exchange 2010 should be SP3 or later. Exchange 2007 should be SP3 RU10 or later. This is also the requirement for Exchange 2013 installation in the same org. Migration use login ID. The ID we are going to use for the migration should have organization management and recipient management permissions. I would prefer to have the domain admin permissions as well, so that it should not cause any issue if you are not the domain administrator. All right. Make sure all the mailboxes have been moved to Exchange 2013 before we even plan to do the migration of public folders. Public folder name and alias should not have backslash and space. If there is one, then fix it before starting the migration. You can always fix it, and then we can start the migration. Ensure we announce downtime or do this over the weekend during the final cutover, because the final cutover is when you lose the connectivity. The moment you run the second last command, and everybody will be locked out from their public folder access, and public folder access will be locked. All right. Perform a backup of your public folder database before starting migration so that we can restore the public folder database in case of any issue. Mostly any hardware issue can occur. I've never seen any other issue, but hardware issue can occur and cause the database failure or the migration failure. In that case, you might not be able to migrate the same public folder, and then in that case you will be looking for the restore, which might be the only option available at that time. Public folder coexistence is not possible. Don't even think of trying it. You can't have some public folders in 2013 and some in legacy, which means you have to move all public folders in one go. This will take less time than what you are thinking right now. We will see in further slides. All right. Don't worry about it. Like even if you have the data in the gigabytes, we can still migrate them, and while the final cutover only, we will have the downtime. All right. Exchange 2013 public folders will not be accessible from legacy mailbox. So don't try to access 2013 public folders from legacy Exchange server. Migration will be running at the speed of 2 to 3 gigabytes per hour, but this is a standard, So, but it depends on the network speed, server speed, and also the bad items and the clean items. So, if you have bad items, it will try to migrate and then fail and move on to the next one. So, it's not that smooth. So, it takes a little bit more time to migrate rather than just a smooth migration. Recently someone reported me this issue, and I prefer to add it to this slide. So do not delete the mailbox database, at least one mailbox database which has the system mailbox, because it might cause some problem in accessing public folders. So I would recommend keep one blank mailbox database which has system mailbox. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Legacy to modern public folders migration steps. All right, we are very close to start the demo. Before starting the demo, I would like to walk through the migration steps so you have the better understanding. Okay. The first step is snapshot of current public folders, which means we are just taking a snapshot, the statistics, the permissions, the structure, which will tell us, okay, this was the structure. After migration, we should be able to compare whether we got the same structure, same permission, and same statistics, or we are missing something. So if we are missing something, we can just review going back to the public folders and rectify that. So the first command here, get public folder hyphen recurse pipe export hyphen CSV and the path of the CSV file. This is going to run this command to take a snapshot of original source folder structure. Right. The next command is similar command, but after pipe it is get public folder statistics and then export to a file. Run this command to take a snapshot of public folder statistics such as item count, size, and the owner. Next command is get public folder hyphen get children. Pipe get public folder client permission, pipe select object, and then properties of the object, and then export to the CSV file. Run the following command to take a snapshot of the permissions. Basically, we need to know the permission, the statistics, and the structure to compare the public folders. These outputs can be used to verify the migration in case of the issue. We will not be using any of this data during the migration, so just export it properly and secure it somewhere. All right, next step is this was expected to run on Exchange 2010 or Exchange 2007, which is the legacy server. Point number 2 is also supposed to be run on legacy Exchange server, which is to set organization config public folders log for migration false hyphen public folder migration complete false. We will run this command to change the value of public folder logged for migration and public folder migration complete to false. So if we have both the value false already, we can skip this command. We will see in the demo how to check. All right. Step 3. Step 3 is deletion of any existing public folder. This is supposed to be run on Exchange 2013. We will run this command to remove any previous public folder and migration request. We can also check the current status, but just running same command. We can also check the status by running the same command before the pipe, like just run the get public folder migration request. Will show you if there's any public folder request available, and if there's one available, you can just remove it, or just run it. If there'll be one, it will remove it. If there'll be nothing, it will don't do anything. So there's no harm in this command, even if you don't have a public folder or migration request available. So all 4 commands are removing either the public folder or public folder's child or the mailbox of the public folder. All right. So next step is one of the important steps. So till now we were just ensuring that the organization is ready to do the migration. Now we're exporting the data to do the migration. The 4th step has to be run on Exchange legacy Exchange server to export the current statistics and map it to the generation file. So I'll explain you about these 2 PS1 files. These 2 PS1 files does not belong to Exchange 2010 or 2007. So we have to copy them from Exchange 2010 or 2007 to we have to copy them from Exchange 2013 the scripts folder and copy it to your legacy Exchange server's script folder, and we will run the scripts from there. Also, you might need to copy their binary file, basically the input file, which is also on Exchange 2013 folder. I'll show you which one I'm talking about in the demo. To Exchange 2010 or Exchange 2007 scripts folder, and there's a folder inside. You might need to create en-us inside that folder. You need to copy that file. All right. So first command here, first script here, export -public folder statistics -ps1 is exporting the statistics to a file. All right. Second command here, public folder to mailbox map generation .ps1. space mailbox size. What is mailbox size here? How much mailbox size we want to give to modern public folder, all right? So that it can calculate how many mailboxes will be required, all right? Then import file path. Then we have to give the file path with the file name which we just exported in the previous command of export public folder statistics. All right. Then export file path. This will be the new path where you want to export the file. So we can give a new path here, and it will generate a file to export with a file name. All right. This is the fourth step. Moving on to the fifth step. We will run the below command to create public folder mailbox in hold for migration mode. The name of the public folder mailbox that you create must match the name of the target mailbox. So what important here is the mailbox. So when we exported a file in the previous command, the file will have a mailbox name. So we have to have you either use the same name, or as per the organization's naming convention, we can use the different name and also change in the map the exported CSV file. We should change, it should match with the CSV file. Then we'll run this command, new mailbox hyphen public folder mailbox name, hold for migration true, and then the database path of the Exchange 2013 database. Then you can continue creating the new mailboxes as per the output file. In my case, it was only one in my demo, so I'll show you only one. You might need to create multiple mailboxes as current public folder, as per the current public folders and the size defined in the previous step. All right, let's move to the next step, which is migration request creation. So this is the command we will be running to start the migration. It will move will begin as an online move. So this will be like a online migration, just like a mailbox migration, and reach auto suspended state. All right, after 95% of data will be copied. So it is not copying. It's not copying the whole public folder data, but it is just copying till 95% and stopping at 95%. All right. When the status reach auto suspended mode, we can move to the next step. This is very important. So when we need to monitor the migration, and then when we see that it has moved to the 95% and it has reached to the auto suspended mode, the status is auto suspended, then we can move to the seventh step. So the seventh step is lock legacy exchange on final migration. So this has to be run on Exchange 2010, but you can run it from Exchange 2013 as well, because this is just locking the public folder migration for the whole organization. So now, I mean, this is the point. Downtime will be required depending on how much new content was generated since the migration reached the auto suspended state. So it is very important that just after the step 6 finishes, you have to move on to the 7th step, because just after it reaches the auto suspended mode, you have to start moving to the final step. Otherwise, your public folder data in Exchange in legacy Exchange will increase, because people will be adding more data, changing the data. So this is very important to know. When you do this, when you finish this auto suspended mode, you might like to continue the migration, have a downtime. If you cannot, you need to wait it, and the 5% of the remaining data might increase. Then it was as 5%, it might increase to 10%, 20%. It depends on the utilization. All right. So If we have multiple source public folder databases, then wait for application interval plus 1 hour after locking source so they can replicate. And alternatively, you can restart the migration. Alternatively, you can restart the Microsoft Information Store service to bypass the waiting time. Right. So okay, this is more important. At the seventh, this seventh commandlet will log off the users from the public folders and log the folders. So it's very important when you run the command set organization config hyphen public folders log for migration true. The moment you run the command, all the users will be logged off from the public folders and it will log the folders for the migration and its final synchronization. So main thing to understand is the moment you run the seventh this command log for migration true, it's gonna log the public folder and users will not be able to access the public folders. All right. So moving on to the next step, which is complete the suspended migration by running commandlets. The first one is set public folder migration request hyphen identity slash public folder migration prevent completion false. So there's a default set of prevent completion which comes as true. So when you start the migration, it becomes it does not complete the whole public folder migration and stops at 95%. And now we are removing it with this command, and it will allow us to complete the migration. The next command is the resume public folder migration request and then identity public folder migration. This will allow us to complete the migration. And it will complete, and you will see the status completed. All right. So let's move on to the demo. All right. So this is demo time. I'll minimize this and move on to the demo real quick. All right. I hope you will be able to see my desktop. This is my Exchange 2010 server, and the next one below this on the left side, you can see this is the Exchange 2013 server. So first I would like to click here, CFS, and I have the commands already added here so that I should not waste your time in typing the whole command. So the first three commandlets are these to get the output of the three to get the output of the public folders on Exchange 2010. I will just copy them and paste them here. Okay, I got some error. Okay. Okay, it says login failure. I will reopen. It was an old session, possibly. Okay, it's trying to connect to. I can see there's some failure happening on my lab. Okay, it looks like some services have stopped here, which was not the case until yesterday. All right, I'll take a restart of the server. I don't see anything wrong here. And I will also restart the server. Uh, all right. So meanwhile they're restarting, I will move on to the next slide and try to finish so that we can save some time for here. Meanwhile, the lab is restarting. All right. So let's talk about the rollback to legacy. So in case something happens and you need to do the rollback, I understand this is never a preference, but if we have to roll back, then rollback is very easy. If you have not removed the legacy Exchange server and legacy public folder database, the the good thing is rollback is an option and we can do it. All right. So uh, the only worry here is the data loss. There'll be some data loss which you have um, added to Exchange 2013 public folders mailboxes. Apparently, you can export that data to maybe a PST or export to somewhere else, and then uh, start the rollback. So we there'll be so to roll back we have the following. We need to do below changes in Exchange 2013 to do the rollback. We need to run some commandlets to do the rollback. So to unlock legacy Exchange public folder, run the following command, and it will unlock the public folder migration. Remember, this was a command. This was a switch we used to mark it migration true. And second command, we were also reviewing these two commandlets: public folder migration complete flag to false, and also public folder lock for migration to false. All right. So then the next command is going to remove all the public folders. So if there's any public folder exists, we have to go ahead and remove the public folders from 2013. So it will remove all the public folders, public folder request, and there's an optional step which says, oh, you might need to point to the legacy public folder, in all the databases to legacy public folder, which is the fourth step. So the get mailbox database pipes set mailbox database hyphen public folder database, and the name of the public folder database will set it up. Will set the old legacy public folder which you public folder database which you will give it. Exchange 2013 does not use this field, so even if you don't if you don't change it, if you don't do anything with this field, it will automatically point to the default database which you have. All right. Then legacy public folder database removal. So let's talk about legacy public folder database removal. That's like a very important step when you are going to remove the legacy public folder. It's like you are going to remove the old Exchange infrastructure, and then you are into the situation where you would like to remove everything from the old infrastructure. All right, well, let me just check the labs. If the lab is available, we can work on that. Well, it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem up yet. So I'll move back to the slide. All right. So the next um, okay, the next slide we are talking about is the legacy public folder database removal. This is a big change in the new environment. You might have to change to remove the old legacy infrastructure. So make sure you raise all the changes and then continue for the removal. So we should back up legacy public folder databases before removal um, for a rollback. I mean, if just in case we need to do a rollback, we should have a database backup, which was in the last stage um, before removing. All right. Then we need to remove all the replicas of public folder databases. Else, you cannot delete the database unless you like to delete from ADS edit, which is not recommended. It's recommended from Microsoft. All right. Then we need to remove all public folders from legacy public folder databases. Else you cannot remove that database. So first remove the replica, then remove the public folders, and we cannot remove public folder database with public folders. Definitely, it's the same as the mailboxes. You cannot remove mailbox database with the mailboxes. So we need to make it empty and then delete it. So same thing here. You need to make the public folder database empty and then you can remove it. So you can run the below command to in the legacy exchange management shell to remove the legacy exchange public folder database, get public folder database identity, legacy public folder database name, by remove hyphen public folder database. And this might pop you up for the confirmation, and then you can just say yes, and it will remove it. All right. Let me go back to the lab. Okay. Okay. It's me. Okay. So back. All right. So all right. So I'm trying to log into the server, and then we'll see. So this is my Exchange 2010 server. I'm going to Exchange Management Shell. I prefer to run as administrator because some of the command does not work if you don't run as administrator. So I wanted to show you these two things, which are the .string files, which I've copied from Exchange 2013 to this particular location. You might need it because the commands which we are going to use, they use as these strings, and they expect this to be located here. All right. So we'll go ahead as soon as the Exchange management shell comes up. Um, Really apologize for this issue. Looks like
Perhaps,
this has got an IP conflict. Yep.
perhaps, Prabhat, I can take the controls back and I can quickly go over the certification tracks. In the meantime, you can figure out if we can reconnect. If not,
Sure,
we'll get
sure,
to the Q&A session after that. Is that okay?
sure, sure.
Perfect. So don't want to waste any time here, and we want to finish it on at the hour mark. So I will let Prabhat deal with the connection issue there. But this is what I wanted to cover. Whenever you're upgrading to a newer version of technology, you also have to make sure your skills are updated. If you manage a team of IT professionals, their skills are updated as well. So Microsoft has released a pool of brand new certifications across the server products that they have, and this slide basically talks about it really emphasizes the importance of Windows Server 2012, the MCSA Windows Server 2012, because that is a required prerequisite certification if you want to go to server infrastructure in MCSE, desktop infrastructure, messaging, which is Exchange, communication, which is Link, you have SharePoint, and private cloud. So it's a required prerequisite for 6 different MCSEs. So if your destination is MCSE messaging, you have to have an MCSE in Windows Server 2012. They also have a free second shot exam promotion going on, and it expires on May 31st of 2014. So if you fail on the first attempt, you get a free second shot at that exam. Now, zooming into MCSE messaging, which is Exchange. As I mentioned before, you have to go through the Server 2012 certification. So this goes deeper into and shows you the breakdown of the exams that make up the MCSE in Windows Server 2012. So there are 3 exams, 7.0, 4.10, 4.11, and 4.12. So you have to pass all 3 exams, get your MCSA in Windows Server 2012, and only then you can attempt the 7.0.341 and 3.4.2, which are both the Exchange Server 2013 exams, the core and the advanced. So once you have passed all 5 exams, only then will you achieve the MCSE in messaging certification. Now, what if you already have an older certification in Exchange? There is an upgrade path for that. It's a shorter path, of course. So if you have any of these certifications, any of these MCIDPs in the older technologies, so if you have an MCIDP in Exchange 2010, all you have to do is pass one exam, the upgrading exam, to Windows Server 2012. Once you pass that one exam, you will get your MCSA in Windows Server 2012, and then from then on you go on to pass the 2 Exchange Server 2013 exams. So if you have an older certification, all you have to do is pass 3 exams versus passing 5 exams over here. Prabhat, how are we doing with the demo environment?
All right, demo environment is up. I can see Exchange 2010 is up. So first few steps we have on Exchange 2010, so we can continue.
Okay, so I'll hand it off to you right now.
All right. Okay, so this is Exchange 2013. I was just opening the shell. While it's opening, I'm back on Exchange 2010. All right, so this is the management shell, which looks very clean right now. I have 3 commands to directly run to export the data in the CSV file. So I'm just running one by one. It will run. I've just copied and pasted here. So first file has imported, second file has imported, but gave an error, could not find public folder with a backslash, which is correct, because there's no public folder with a backslash. It is just the root of the legacy public folder database. We all know that, right? So we don't keep any data inside the backslash, which is the root. So it cannot do this. All right, so at this point of time, I should be able to see 3 CSV files which are here. You can see on this, you can see the generation time is just right now 1:55:18 of December. All right, next command is, like I said, I will run this command to get the current status of public folder lock for migration and public folder migration complete attributes. Okay, what's happening? All right, so I'll just oh, I do not like it. Copy, paste here. All right, so it will show us the status is false. So the command which we were running here was the second step, this command, which was changing the status to false, which is already false. So we will not run this command. We just got that the status is already false. Okay, we'll go to Extension 2013, which is still giving some issues, which can be some services did not come back, as it is my lab. Quite possible. I did not give enough time to keep it healthy, but it should come up in a while. All right. Meanwhile, it's coming up. The services are coming up. I will go back here and execute the fourth step, which is exporting the command, exporting the statistics to a CSV file. Oops, I'm sorry. This PS1 file is not at this location, so I have to go to the location required. All right. All right. So this is the location and this is the command. I'm running it. Okay, so it asks for the public folder server. In my case, the public folder server is PNDC, which is you have to give the source server name, and it will start exporting the structure. All right. Then I have to run the second command, and which is already selected for me. I have everything ready. So this is the command which has mapped the public folders with the mailbox. So basically now we have two more files. We can have a look of map file. I don't have the Excel installed on the server. So you can see just the mailbox 1 is the name. So I can reduce the, change the name here, saying modern public folder 1. Okay, so, and I'll just close and save it. All right, let's go to 2013 and see what's going on. All right, so it looks like it has started running fine now, because it has connected to itself, and we can check if any service is failing here. Yes, diagnostic service has failed, so I'm just starting it. All right, so looks like this host controller failed for some reason. Which has started, and it has started. All right, so everything is looking good now, and we can open another shell to make sure. And okay, meanwhile, okay, you can see the second shell has come clear, which is here. So here's the third step, which was to get if there's any public folder or any migration already exist. So I will run all the commands. I do not expect any output because there's no public folder migration request, or there's no public folder database, or there's no public folder exist in this Exchange 2013. So this public folder, which is just shown, this is the Exchange 2010 public folder, which is fine. This error is fine. No active public folder mailbox were found, so it cannot find a public folder as well. So which makes sense. So even this command will show me blank because there's no public folder exist. All right. So now we do not need to run these removal commands. I've just run the first part of it. Now I'm going to create the new public folder. Remember the name we had given. It's I'm sorry, I like the one number most. So modern public folder 1. I would like to re-verify what do I have in the map command, map file. It's mpf1. I just gave it mpf1 in Exchange 2013. I just changed my commandlet mpf1, and I have given it halt for migration, and this is the Exchange 2013 mailbox database name. And this will create the new mailbox, new public folder mailbox. So as soon as, okay, it has created new public folder mailbox, and I have the migration command ready here. But what I missed is to copy the map.csv. So I have to go back to the location where I have map.csv exported. This is a map.csv. I have to just click copy and come here, go to the C drive PF migration folder. And there was a file which is an old file. So copy and place. This is the new file. You can see the name will be the what we gave, mpf1. It's here. So now we are good to go. So we will run this command to start the migration and stop at 95%. Sorry, because I did not remove the inverted commas. Okay, now it will continue. And all right. Okay, now you can see the migration has queued. I would like to run the statistic command to see the status of the migration so that we can move on to the next step, because we have to wait until it goes to the auto-suspended mode. So it's saying in progress. So we have to keep on waiting for some time. Uh, I'm sure it shouldn't be much of the time. It should be very fast because I don't have any data, and if it takes a long time, I might need to due to stalled due to right CPU. So if it's going to take long time in my case because my lab and there might be some other issue than the actual migration issue, I might restart a service and it might work. Okay, so now we can see some data coming up. It's moving. It's moved. Currently processing mailbox. So it gave the mailbox ID, which is the grid of the mailbox. It says it's in progress, creating initial sync checkpoint. So you can see it's changing. I'm just waiting for auto suspended mode, and it can change to auto suspended mode any moment because I don't have any data. You can see we have automatically suspending job. It should be automatic suspending. So it's automatically suspended here. Now we are ready to run the next command to start the migration, which is supposed to be run on Exchange 2010 in my case, which is a legacy Exchange server. So I'm going to run it here, which is going to lock the current public folders. And here we go. Okay, so this has locked the public folder for migration. Now, at this point of time, all the users will be locked out of the public folders, and they will not be able to do or access anything on the public folders. Now we can move to the next step, and step is remove the lock, which locks the migration at 95%. So the prevent completion will be removed with this command. Okay, it has removed, and now we can resume the migration. In my case, I'm not waiting for some time to replicate because it's just one server of Exchange 2010, just doesn't have any replica, which itself is a domain controller. So I'm not just waiting for any time for it to be the quickest. Okay, so now I started resuming. Now we can check the status of the migration again. And it has reached to in progress. So it is in progress, it is moving, it's in progress, it's completing the migration. So basically this should reach to complete sync and will be done. Meanwhile, I can log into one of the user account here, where we can check the public folder has migrated or not migrated. Okay, so this is the issue I'm facing is relinquishing job because mailbox is locked. So it is because of the because it has not refreshed the information. So basically, I'll go ahead and restart the replication service here. This should take care of this issue. Basically, the mailbox application service. All right, let's see. I'm sure it was a mailbox application service, but I will still I will see if restarting the application service changes anything. But it's supposed to be the mailbox application service which should fix it because it was a lock. Or I might require to restart the information service to avoid the time on the Exchange 2010 server.
And we can probably schedule another webinar, Prabhat, for the live demo because we are 10 minutes past the hour mark and there are some questions from clients, from our webinar attendees.
All right.
So do you have any more, anything else you wanted to cover from the slides? If the demo is, we still need to wait longer.
No, the demo is about to over. Like it says, it's a little bit locked out, so it's just it should be done right away. I'm just trying to fix it, and because it has this is the last command. Basically, this is the last command of the demo. At this point, it is supposed to complete. The only thing what we have not done is we have not given enough time to between the commands, and we have run the commands back to back. So it's basically right now it is logged, and it's supposed to be unlocked to complete the migration. So I think I said in between that we might need to restart the information service on Exchange 2010 to complete the migration. So that was my that was what I wanted to try. But as the time is ending, so we can move on to, I will just restart this and move on to the slide and see and come back and see if anything changes. All right, so this is a summary. So what we learned today is modern public folder architecture, modern public folder comparison with legacy, modern public folder and coexistence, modern public folders migration requirements, modern public folders migration steps and demo, rollback to legacy public folder database, legacy public folder database removal. All right, so there are a few blocks I wanted to share. I'm sure you will be able to take the screenshot and then browse it. The first one is where I have written about the modern public folder architecture, and second one is about modern public folder migration. So obviously you can post a command if you have. And thank you for joining and listening to me. I hope today's session would have been helpful. And you can give me a feedback and subscribe to a message and Guru or comment on any of the blog. We are good in answering. All right, so we are available on Twitter as well.
So
right.
Prabhat, we'll probably schedule another webinar with the live demo actually fully working from beginning to end. But at this moment, there are some questions in the questions pane. So if you can pop out the questions box and just read out the questions and address them.
All right. So question our time. Where is?
I believe the first question I have here is from Bonnie. Would you like me to read out the question, Prabhat?
I'm okay. I can read now. So
okay.
The first question I can see is my company's public folder is a database Exchange 2003. It stores customer contact information. What are my migration options? So Bonnie, from Exchange 2003 to Exchange 2010 will be your first move, and then you can move to Exchange 2013. Exchange 2013 does not support Exchange 2003 in the environment. So you need to remove Extension 2003 for that, and made it working with the live environment. You would like to move to Extension 2010 first, and then move to Extension 2013. The other option is to export the public folders to BST and just directly migrate to directly introduce Extension 2013, or use any third-party tool, which sometimes might not be a recommended way. I prefer Microsoft Way, and Microsoft Way is going to Extension 2010. All right, next question. Can moderation be set up with modern public folders? So yes, you can set up some moderators. You can set up some other administrators who can do the moderation. Bosco. Any guidance on how to perform cross-forest migration for public folders? Cross-forest is not supported basically. So, and if you have a cross-forest, I was just talking about that. You can export the public folders to PST. Do not remove the source public folders. You keep the source public folders. Export the public folders to PST, and then in the new org import the public folders to the modern public folders, and then verify the permissions, which is very important. I've seen the permissions getting away. All right. Next question is, what's the application of public folder databases for national archives? It's if you're just asking about the archives, it can be archive. It can be archive as the database archive we will use. So if you have further questions on this, we can discuss offline. You can email me on my email ID. I will just type my email ID. So okay, the next question I will take here is, does the migration process remove the data from legacy public folders? If we have to roll back, can we just use the legacy public folder mailbox that already exists without a restore? Yes, it does not remove any data, but it does not remove any data. So you can definitely roll back without restoring. All right, that answers the practical question. The next question is from Miguel Menchel-Pena. After migration, the PF is managed as a mailbox. Yes, the public folders will be managed as a mailbox and will replicate with the database, which is with the mailbox database. All right. The next question is, you noted the database with the system mailbox should not be deleted. Are you aware of any article or method to get this back in case that was accidentally done already? So Scott, don't worry. I mean, if you accidentally remove the system mailbox database, you can just create a new database, new mailbox database, and it should take care of that issue. So new mailbox database, new system mailbox will take care of it. Yeah. Okay. After the migration, okay. I think that's the end of the
Yep.
questionnaire.
Yep. Those are all the questions we have.
All right. So just wanted to see the status of the lab. If it is completed, then we are good. Or I will see if I can have another webcast in future.
We can probably. Would you like to check that first?
Yeah. Okay. So you can see the request is completed here. It has completed. Like
let me give you the rights, Prabhat.
Oh. Okay. Okay. So I have just run the command to check this current status, and we can see the status has completed, and we can have a look in OWA and in ESC ESC. This will not take much, Ranjan. So this is my OWA. You have to, if you have to access the public folders, you have to come here on favorite and do a right click on add public folder. From OWA you cannot access directly, so I can see all the public folders here, and I will add here one. So I will select here and double click, or I will select the down level and add here, and it will start showing me the public folder here. In ECP, or ESC, you can say, you come here and you can see public folders on the left side, and then public folders root is here. But what does it mean? I mean, there's no other folder? No, this is the root, and then you will have a subdirectory. You can see some more folders inside, and there's one more folder inside. So you have to continue going inside if you think there's mailbox inside, and it shows here has subfolder or no. So it has no, so you can come here. All right, so public folder mailbox, it shows which public folder mailbox we have, what are the public folder mailboxes we have. So we just created one, so we have only one public folder mailbox, and these are the options for the public folders in the EAC. All right, so this demo ends here, and that's it for the day from my side. Thank you, Rinchen, and it's giving the control back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhat. We had to jump through hoops, but we finally came through. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We're about 20 minutes past the hour mark, so thank you so much for sticking around for the entire webcast. We'll have the webinar recording up on our website by tomorrow, but I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Prabhat, and also wanted to wish everyone happy holidays.
Thank you, everyone, and I'm really apologizing for the lab issue and taking you to extra 20 minutes. I hope it was helpful. Have a happy holidays.
Thank you.